Perrin, Mystery of the UFO, Chapter 13. The Kidnap of the Steiner Brothers, USA. The case of the Brazilian Antonio Vilas Boas is not unique. There was an experience that happened on the United States that is not very known in Europe. We will go straight to it in a summarized post that was told by Mr. Malcolm Kent on his pocketbook of 1967. He has something in common with the adventure of Antonio Villas Boas. The kidnap followed by the coupling of an extraterrestrial with a terrestrial with an extraterrestrial. There has also been analogies with the case of Betty and Barney Hill, in which it talks a little bit about destruction by hypnosis of any memory of what happened, imposed by the victims, by the kidnappers. This American case happened with two brothers, Robert and Jason Steiner, their pseudonym, that on a journey by car from New York to New Jersey, where they lived, they were surprised by a thick cloud that they made them stop and brake the car. On that moment, they were kidnapped by humanoid that, by what they say, they were small and were dressing a dark uniform. Like it was night, it was difficult to distinguish the colors because of the night time. They had a belt, a sort of a disc that emitted a yellowish light. They were conducted to the interior of the disc that emitted a yellowish light. They were conducted inside of a disc with big dimensions. They were about 3 meters thick on the central area and with numerous intermittent lights around it. Following these these lights closed separately in different cabins of the device. Before they were taken one by one to each section of the ship, and they were put in the presence of a beautiful girl about 20 years old, from which they had sexual relationships. You can almost ask how these boys in such young age they could wish to have relationships in these circumstances. Just like in Antonio Villas Boas, they were used a kind of aphrodisiac or a produce that produced those same results. To these two brothers, they made them eat a fruit that was in a bowl that could cause that effect. In either way, they could have been drugged, just like both felt similar effects like weed, for example, euphoria, a strong sensation of hunger, trust in themselves, and sexual desire. Such like the Brazilian colleague, they had the sensation that they were with a robot kind of perfected, or an animal more than a woman. Meanwhile, the partner of the Brazilian man, she was cute. She never talked, and she emitted sounds similar to the pig's sounds. The two American brothers, the girl spoke English with no pronouns. On the other side, she was exhalating a very strong metal smell, like when you approximate a little bit of steel to your nose. This smell was straight away detected by the brother Steiner when they approximated the device, and then also inside. After both had eaten the apple or a similar fruit that had not bad of a taste, it tasted very insipidous. And after the sexual act, they were reunited in a room, very dark, and interrogated about the facts of the living life of a perfect English, being the questions made by any of the occupants, either by a computer. They could distinguish the effect of a sort of a device that had two sort of rods animated in movement, kind of a rotative movement, forward and backwards, similar to our modern computers. They got the order to forget everything that happened to them, exactly like in the case to the Betty Hill couple. They were then dropped, and they found and they oh, they were then dropped, and they found themselves 2 days after the kidnapped inside of a car in front of home, and without any memory of what happened. Only 7 years later, when both were working on an industry, they felt the need to consult a psychoanalyst, and then they felt a series of disturbances in certain moments. For example, when they found both on a car at night in the middle of the fog, or when they are in front of a computer when working. The counselor of the industry where they were working told them about Dr. Emmanuel Brent in New York, that one of the psychiatrics of the industry where he worked, and he made him a normal treatment. This process didn't give much results, so Dr. Brandt suggested that he would submit himself to a hypnosis session. Separately, that was what he done. Being detailed all of the details of the adventure. This happened 7 years after the experience, and the brothers happened to heal their phobia. In fact, they had been, like the Hill couple, submitted to a hypnotic suggestion, and they were small details in special situations that permitted him them to conclude what happened to them. We need to add that one of the brothers before the experience was what we called a gallant. He didn't have he was a gallant. He always had a lot of sexual intercourse, which from after he stopped having sexual appetite, which was abnormal in his case. So both doctors, Malcolm Kent and Dr. Brandt in New York, they say that when they were under hypnosis, which is the truth serum, they revealed absolutely everything that was hidden in their subconscious. We cannot forget that the human brain uses a small portion of your potential capacities, and that through psychoanalytical methods appropriate, it's possible to bring to conscience um, memories that were completely forgotten. Malcolm Kent also presents several other details that confirm the truthness of this experience of the two brothers, and we can ask how many adventures and happened in our planet, they will forever become ignored due to the lack of conditions that can permit their revelation. My people, hope you enjoyed. This chapter was a small one. Love you very much. Have a blessed night.